Are we ready? Okay. My name is Alex Conran. I'm an expert in scams and magic.
What? That's cheating.
I've come to America to try the most devious hustles ever invented.
I think I got hustled.
Bets that sound impossible unless you know the secret.
There's no way.
There's just no way.
Never.
What, this horse?
Yeah.
No.
These tricks have won people a lot of money.
Do you fancy a little bet?
But for me, it's not about the cash. It's personal.
I don't know, did I win it?
I want to know if I'm good enough to follow in the footsteps of the greatest hustlers of all time. And I'm starting out looking at the very best. The legendary conman, Titanic Thompson.
Welcome to the United States.
I'll be teaching a new dog an old trick, throwing cards to save my hat, and being chased by a man in an elevator.
You better run, buddy.
This is Dallas. It's famous for the TV show, for the grassy knoll you can see there in the distance where JFK was shot in the 60s. But for me, it's the beginning of my journey through Texas, Arkansas, Missouri. Why? There's a lot of money around here. Pool hustlers, proposition bettors, gamblers that all come down here and try their luck. That's precisely what I'm going to do.
I've got many miles to travel, and I'm not going to do them all on the bus. Or on foot, for that matter. A hustler travels in style, and that means I need a set of wheels. I've arranged to pick up a car from a guy who runs his own rental company.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Benny.
Yes, sir.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm
Must
Alex.
be Alex. Good to meet you, my man. Good to see you.
Good. Man, I love your cars.
Well,
Look at
thank you.
these. Now, I believe you've got a car set aside for me.
I do.
Because
Got
I
you
like the
sitting
cars.
outside.
Where?
Right there. Little Nissan Xterra.
That one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, wait. This one?
Yeah.
No, come on.
That's a good deal.
Oh, man. But look at the ones that you've got.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to come up with a little bit more money.
I like that one.
Oh, yeah. That was great. That's that Challenger, bro.
That looks fitting to be driving across the States with something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the one.
You sure you can't do me a deal with that? I mean, I see a lot of sports stuff on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
You a betting man, Benny?
Well, this is Texas.
I got a proposition for you. Maybe we can do a deal in the car. Step outside with me.
Let's see what you got.
All right, come on.
All right.
I want to tempt Benny into a bet and win that upgrade. This is exactly what Titanic Thompson would have done. He was the greatest hustler of all time and my inspiration for this trip. He always had an outrageous-sounding bet up his sleeve, a so-called proposition bet, and I've got the same. But mine is, well, nuts.
I got a bag of walnuts. I know it sounds a bit strange, but, you know, nutritious.
Superfood, I believe.
Superfood, exactly. Here's the bet. I bet you can't throw a walnut clear over this building.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh. If you can't clear that building, and I can, you give me that nice yellow Dodge Challenger.
And if I can?
Thought you might ask me that. If you can, and I can't, I'll pay you double.
Oh, that's game.
The game?
Game.
Okay, he's a bit too eager for that one, but all right, okay.
Looks like we have ourselves a bet.
I'll
Pick one out for yourself, and pick one out for me as well.
Okay. You want to
The little one, right?
Yeah,
the little one.
on that.
Out of all he could have picked, you picked the little one.
He sounds pretty cocky, but that building is a long way away when you're throwing a tiny light walnut. Benny's up first.
That didn't even make it past the wall.
Oh, come on.
That didn't make it past the.
That
You
thing
didn't-
was easily clear.
You weren't even near the building. I thought you were like, you were saying. I thought
Okay,
you were
you got a
saying.
better shot. Let me see yours.
All right, just gonna take the jacket.
Oh, really?
Just gonna put that here.
Benny wasn't even close. Now I reckon that wall is about 30 meters away, and I think I'm in with a chance.
Wow.
I believe that's clean over that
I
building.
think that might. Well, I don't know if it's clear. I don't know if it's clear. Let's go take a look. I don't think it's clear.
You don't think it cleared?
No. I think you're on the building.
I did say I'd throw the walnut over the building. On the roof won't count.
Oh, sweet Lord!
Oh, he got a good bounce.
Ha ha!
Good game.
Yeah? You happy?
I'm not happy.
Okay, but you're gonna give me the car?
Texas bet.
Yes! Yes, I'm gonna have a nice car.
Let's do it.
Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
You've been great.
Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate it.
Right, let's get the keys. Come on. All right.
Now, the thing about proposition bets is that the hustler always has an edge. A little trick that means he's going to win no matter what happens. Of course, the victim mustn't suspect a thing.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely a fair contest. I'm surprised that he managed to get it that far, honestly. I mean, I looked at him like, he won't get there. I thought I had a little bit more size up on him, but he outshowed me.
Alex wanted us to give you the walnut that he threw as a souvenir. Here it is. Find anything unusual about that one?
His feels kind of heavier.
That's because it is. Benny picked a normal nut out of the bag, but when he wasn't looking, I switched it for one that's filled with lead. Yep, I do always carry a lead-filled walnut. And because it was heavier, it flew much further. All the way over the building and into the alleyway.
Oh, man! I think I got hustled. Yeah, I got hustled.
Now I have some wheels, my hustling adventure is all systems go. I'm heading north to Missouri to take on some real-life pool hustlers. And I'm in for a terrifying lesson in gambler's self-defense.
It's one thing to lose your money. It's another thing to lose your life.
I'm Alex Conran, and I'm traveling across America to try and pull off the greatest hustles of all time. I've just upgraded my car by throwing a walnut over a building. A favorite of Titanic Thompson. This guy stood head and shoulders above the rest as the greatest hustler ever.
My whole journey really was inspired by this one man, Titanic Thompson.
He was ruthless, skillful, and he invented some ingenious cons that made him fortunes. Now, he died in 1974, but I've got the next best thing.
So I'm on my way to meet Tommy Thomas. He's the son of Titanic Thompson.
I've heard he's definitely a chip off the old block.
I'm actually quite nervous. And this is the closest I'm going to come to meeting Titanic Thompson. And Tommy Thomas himself's got a fascinating story. I think that's him now.
Now, Tommy used to be a card cheat, but has since become a God-fearing preacher. I want to know what it was like living the life of a professional hustler.
You have an extraordinary story. I mean, your father was a famous gambler, proposition man. You didn't really meet him in your childhood, and yet somehow you ended up following a similar path.
Well, I was always practicing with magic and all. At 13 and 14 years old, I got all these books. And when I was 16 or 17, I'd go to the Elks clubs, and I could do a few things with a deck of cards. I'd win $300 or $400 a night. Well, back in 1962 or 3, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I had a stepfather said, why don't you go get a job? Well, I went to apply for a job making salads at a hotel. I got $1.50 an hour. I said, well, that doesn't work when I go out and win 300. So I was determined to continue and be a gambler. I practice 8-10 hours a day, and I've got mirrors set up around the table. And if I'm holding out a card, I'd make sure it didn't show anywhere.
Holding out a card is when you're hiding a card. So let's say you took out an ace, and if another ace comes out, you want to slip in that ace you've been hiding in to give yourself a pair of aces.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Of course, when you slip that ace back in, you need to make sure it matches the rest of the deck.
Now, I heard a story at some point where you had a blue deck and a red deck.
Yeah.
What's it? Can you tell me about that?
I
Because
sure
that
can.
sounds like a hairy moment to me.
It was. You have a table full of people playing poker. One person is shuffling the red deck while you're dealing the blue, and that speeds up the process. My partner held out a red card, and I held out a blue one. So when they deal the blue cards, I'm the one that would switch in and out. When they dealt the red, he would do that.
Right.
My partner came in with a red card when they dealt the blue ones. I guess maybe he got a little tired and he just came in. And they said, "What's that red card doing in that blue deck?" I said, "Well, you know, these cards are getting a little sticky. Maybe they just stuck together and then they got mixed up like that. So let's get a couple of new decks. What do you say?"
Cheating at cards back then wasn't for the faint-hearted.
Because we're in Texas. A lot of people carry guns here.
Mississippi, Alabama, all those places I
places.
played, they all do that. So I had a second skill.
Right.
I had a spring holster hung upside down under a vest. So I'd be sitting there.
That's quick.
In less than a second, I'd shoot you.
That's
so I
quick.
always had that as a backup, but you know what's amazing? I never had to do that. And I always knew when you went out to get your pistol and come back. I could always tell.
How could you tell?
You could tell that
just
little
tell?
sweat broke out, and the guy's thinking, "What can I do to get my money back?" And you can just see a change in a person. And he'd come back and sit down, and I'd look at that person, and I said, "You know what? It's one thing to lose your money. It's another thing to lose your life.
I can
If
see
I'm
the
good enough
stare
to cheat
now.
you out of
That's
your
good.
money,
Yeah.
I'm good enough to kill you." And it never happened. It never happened.
Good call for
In
that.
32 years.
What an extraordinary man. That moment when Tommy looked at me and he said, "It's one thing to lose your money, it's another thing to lose your life." That really caught me off guard because he's not bullshitting. He's been there. He sat there with a gun and cheated people out of their money. That just blows my mind.
Meeting Tommy has really given me an insight into the mind of a hustler. And I know where to head to next to follow Titanic's trail. But first, I need to look the part. Before I leave the state, I'm stopping at a Texan outfitter's. And I have a bet worthy of Titanic that's just perfect.
Good. Ashley, I was wondering if you could help me.
Okay.
Well, I'm in Texas and I don't have a hat. Pretty much everybody here has a hat.
What color do you want?
I think for a hustler person,
Black.
maybe a black one.
A black one? Okay.
Yeah. What do you reckon? So one of
This
these?
one's probably our best one. It's called the Competitor.
Competitor. I like
Yes.
that.
There you
Before
go,
we
right?
go into this, how much is a hat like this?
That one's $350.
$350.
Yes, sir.
What's the most expensive hat you have?
The most expensive hat I have is gonna be the
Now
100
let's see if I can get this hat without paying $350 for
It's
it.
gonna be 900, and if you get a pastel color, it's gonna be 925.
Okay. I have a little proposition for you. If I win the bet, you can let me have the hat. If I lose the bet, I'll buy your most expensive hat, the $900 hat, that one.
Okay, what's the bet?
What's the bet? Okay, oh, you're skeptical already. Okay. I bet you that I can take off my waistcoat without taking off my jacket. You don't think so? Yeah, I can imagine why you wouldn't think so. I mean, I'm wearing that underneath the jacket, but I bet you I can take this waistcoat off. I'm not going to rip it. I'm not going to take some scissors out and cut it all up. If I can do that, will you let me have the hat?
If you can do it, but I don't think you can.
All right, let's shake
All
on
right.
it. Okay, challenge accepted. Here, you hold the hat.
Okay.
Right. First of all, I'm going to undo the waistcoat. Next, put the jacket. It's not graceful, and it doesn't look pretty.
A hustler needs all sorts of skills. This isn't cheating, it's just a clever trick.
Looking a bit nervous there, actually. Oh, no, it's not off yet. Here we go. Here comes the difficult part, believe it or not. That was the easy part.
Now I have to get the entire waistcoat down and out of the sleeve of my jacket. And that's tight.
Here we go. Ready? Waistcoat off without taking off the jacket.
I guess you win, huh?
That feels good. Does it suit me? No. No?
No?
Come on! Well, ma'am, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Now that I'm suitably dressed, it's time to get back on the road heading north out of Texas. My next stop on this trip is 400 miles away in Missouri.
So where we're going to right now in Joplin is reputedly where Titanic first got his name. He was born Alvin Clarence Thomas and only became known as Titanic when he'd been to Joplin and he played pool, hustled everybody, and before he left, he saw a sign which said, you can win $100 if you jump over a pool table. He went across the road to a flea bag motel, he grabbed a mattress, dragged it all the way back to the pool hall, set it on the other side of the pool table, took a running jump, jumped headfirst, clean over the pool table, landed on the mattress, and won the $100. And as he collected his money and left, somebody said, who was that guy? And the owner apparently said, well, I don't know who he was, but they should call him Titanic, because he sinks everybody.
I finally made it to Joplin and found the bar I've been looking for. OK Bar and Billiards has been in business for almost 70 years, and as far as I can tell from my research, it's on the same stretch of road as Snow Clark's, the pool hall where Titanic jumped over the table. It's certainly got that old-time pool hustler feel.
Can I get a beer? Thank you. Wow, that's a chalice of beer. Good Lord. Welcome to the United States. Now, it says no gambling up there.
Nope.
Is there any gambling?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right, okay. But there are some pool hustlers I might bump into.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a good chance of that.
There's a good chance of that. I'm trying to track down a real famous gambler, Titanic Thompson. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
And that's just how Titanic would have wanted it. You can't con people if your reputation precedes you. And here, I'm just some weird guy with an English accent.
My name's Alex.
Before I know it, I'm being challenged to a game by a local pool shark.
I'm an all right pool player, but this guy's just going to destroy me. Wow. No!
Yep, that went pretty much as expected. My new friend Dustin is clearly no stranger to playing pool for cash.
Do you get people walking in here and trying to hustle some pool?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It used to happen a lot more.
How much money are we talking about?
Usually in the hundreds or under nowadays.
Right.
Maybe once, twice a year, there'll be a $1,000 or $2,000 game.
Now for the classic hustler's technique. I've made my opponent think I'm useless at pool. Now I'll try and win everything back with something I am good at, a trick shot.
I'm going to try and make these 3 balls in 3 pockets with 1 shot.
Okay.
He's skeptical. Do you know what? I really wish I'd practiced this before I'm going to show you.
Getting the 3 balls in 3 pockets sounds impossible, especially as most of the pockets are blocked. But there are pockets, and then there are pockets. The pool cue knocks the 2 corner balls in, and the 3rd ball goes right here.
I got it! It worked. 3 balls, 3 pockets. Have you never seen that?
No, good shot. Learn something new?
I thought you guys are going to go, get out of here. We've seen everything you've got. Come on, what are you, crazy?
I'm starting to get a taste for the life of a road hustler.
This place is fantastic. I can really picture Titanic, a tall, skinny guy in a really sharp suit and a cool car, pulling up outside, coming into a place like this all these years ago, sitting around, looking at the players play, picking out the good players, the bad players, and getting into some good hustling. This place really breathes that history. I think if you walked in here today, you wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Another day and another state. A I've left Missouri and I'm heading back south into Arkansas, Titanic's home. I've now seen the kind of place where Titanic used to ply his trade. But how did it all start with the crazy bets? Well, according to legend, it began in a place just like this.
Any book you'll ever read about Titanic Thompson always starts with one bet, and it involved somewhere near the Ozark forests, which we are, and a river, which we have. It also involved a live prop. So I'm off to see a lady about a dog.
Specifically this lady called Cara, a professional dog trainer.
I have a particular bet in mind that I'm going to be doing. And I need a dog that can do a very specific thing, and that is to fetch a stone that has been thrown into the water. Titanic, when he was about 11 years old, was fishing by a river. And when he looked over, he saw another fisherman who had a very expensive fishing rod. So he went up to the guy and said, "Hey, mister, I've got a bet for you." And then he reached down and he picked up a stone. He said, "I can put a mark on this stone." He put a big X on the stone. I'll throw it into the river, and my dog will go in and fetch the very stone. You want to bet? The guy said, "Yeah, it sounds interesting." He said, "Let's bet for your fishing rod." The man accepted the bet. Titanic picked up the stone, and threw it into the water. And sure enough, dog ran straight after it, put his head under the water, picked up the stone, ran straight back out. The X was still on the stone. Now, what happened next was actually quite funny. The guy looked at him and said, "Neat trick, kid," and walked off. Now, Titanic always used to carry his rifle around with him everywhere he went. He said, "Mister," cocked his rifle, "I think that rod belongs to me now." And that's how he won his very first bet. Do you think Luna might be able to do that?
I think if I just showed her that the rock is a toy, I think she'd definitely do it.
Sounds like the right dog for me.
Put in mind.
I'm sure Cara will do everything she can to train the dog. But in the spirit of Titanic, I want to have a little bet with her to really win her over.
How well do you think Luna knows cards?
Not very well.
I bet you, though, that she could do a card trick. You know, your standard card trick. You pick a card, she'll find it.
I don't think she could do that.
Because she doesn't play cards.
Right.
Give him a mix and a shuffle. Pick one out. Anyone you like. OK, you can give that card to me. OK, and now just spread all these just face up, so Luna can have a look at them. Your card, you put it down here, OK? Luna, I want you to find the King of Diamonds, all right? Where is it? Where is it? Find it. Where is it? Where is it? Look down. Somewhere. Oh.
Yep, the King of Diamonds.
She targeted that one for sure.
Targeted that one for sure. Are you surprised?
I'm very surprised, yeah.
Are you?
Smarter than I thought.
Now, dogs aren't really interested in card tricks, but they are interested in delicious meat pate. When Cara handed me her card, I had a dab of pate on my finger, which I smeared on the face. Then Luna just did what dogs do.
Do you want to keep that? Tastes good, doesn't it?
I'll be back in this spot in a few days' time to see if I can recreate Titanic's legendary first bet. But before then, I've got some Arkansas locals to befriend with my card skills.
What? That's cheating.
So long as I don't get caught.
You better run, buddy.
I'm Alex Conrad, on a mission to prove that my magic and hustling experience is good enough to follow in the footsteps of the greatest hustler of all time, Titanic Thompson. And I'm testing myself in his own backyard.
I've decided that the next stop should be Hot Springs in Arkansas. It's got a fascinating history, but specifically why I want to go there is Titanic has also been very strongly associated with that town.
It's a long drive along windy and misty mountain roads. By the time I get to Hot Springs, the sun has already set.
Strip karaoke. I wonder if there's a bet I can do in there.
Tomorrow's a big day for me because the bet I want to recreate is a particularly difficult one. Something that Titanic was